Hey guys, and welcome to my presentation of Pinecrest Elementary School. I kind of went through and analyzed our district data, and I put together a presentation based on that data. Things I'm going to be talking about today are our demographics, how they've changed over the past 3 years, some issues of diversity and multiculturalism here in our district, how we respond to those diversity issues, our financial picture. Just a comparison of 3 different school districts. We'll talk about revenue, expenditure, and then expenditure per pupil. We're going to talk about some ACT Aspire results and compare them to a couple other school districts. We'll do math, reading, and science. And then we'll talk about the A through F report card, which can be found on our State Department website, and then just a few final thoughts. So to get us started, this is our data from 13-14. As you can see, Pinecrest, black females, 29, 36, 27. And then here's your white females, black males. You can kind of see the data. Then we go to 14, 15. Really hasn't changed that much demographic-wise. Now, you'll see that it says we have no Hispanic males, no Hispanic females. That kind of, I was like, I know we do because I know Miss Everson had some in her classroom. So I started searching. That's why we have this little star down here. The stars indicate a cell size of 10 or less. So based on the State Department, this is how they run their data. They show it if it's over 10. If there's not over 10 in that grade level, then they do not show it. They put a star. Then in 15, 16, again, it's about the same. The major thing you can see is the class sizes. In 15, 16, this year, we have 162 in 5th grade. Versus year before we had 177, and the year before that we had 180. We have some issues with diversity and multiculturalism here in our school system. It's not too much. The biggest thing that I realize is we don't have that big of a diverse population here. We have a few English language learners, but other than that, we really don't have any from other cultures. One thing we can Another thing is we have a lack of knowledge of different cultures. That's both teachers and students, because we don't have those students in our school system to learn from. We have differences in religious views between not only teachers but students, gender identification issues, differences in socioeconomic status. These kids come from all different backgrounds, not only the kids but the teachers do as well. Differences in ages in classroom. What I mean by that is you may have some 5th grade that are 10, 11, 9. Depends on if they failed or if they've been pushed forward. So you have those differences in ages. You may have language barriers. Those are your EL students. And also the differences in learning styles. You're going to have that in any classroom in the school. So some things we do to respond to those diversity issues, we can participate in professional development to learn about those different cultures. We can integrate cultural issues into lessons in our classroom. I know our school system pushes a lot to bring cultural aspects into our lessons. Acceptance of all religious beliefs. I think we do that every single day. Acceptance of all gender identities. Recognize varying levels of socioeconomic background. We provide free and reduced lunches, and then we provide snacks and supplies to students if it's needed, just to help those students who come from a lower background. Do not focus on the age differences. We treat them all the same. Provide language support. We do that through use of technology to translate, and also use of a support teacher if needed. And we provide response to intervention for students with differing learning styles. That's a tiered education system where we have Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. And then we have additional support classes are also provided. All right, moving on to our financial picture. I compared our Sylacauga City Schools to Coosa County to Oxford City. I chose one Coosa County that's kind of below us and more of a poverty setting, and a more affluent school system, Oxford City, which is gigantic. As you can see, the total, we have a whole lot more money coming in than Coosa County does. But yet Oxford City has a whole lot more than us. So, it depends on where a school is located in terms of poverty as to how much money you get. Because you can see the local is what your big difference is. Expenditures, the amount the school system spend. You can see Sylacauga City, Coosa County, Oxford City, and you can see the differences. The main one that I wanted to focus on is per pupil, the amount they spend per student. The state, they spend we spend $6,167 versus $7,111 versus Oxford, which is $5,732. Theirs is lower. That kind of said, to me. So I'm still looking into that as to why that's such a big difference when they are a more affluent school system.
They spend more local money.
Right, they do spend more local money, exactly. So because it's a whole lot bigger city. So this was just neat to me that we spend that much per child per year. Next, I want to talk about our Aspire data. I know we as 5th grade teachers, we know our data backwards and forwards. This is last year's. You can see here's all students, and this is for math, and then it's broken down into everything, but I just want to focus on male and females. And I want to only focus on our 3 and our 4s. This is our percentages. As you can see, all students for 14, 15, we had 34%, 14% scored level 4, versus 13, 14, we had 35% and 21%. So you can see we kind of went down between the 2 years. But I think that goes in terms of the students too, the differences in the students. But then if you look at Coosa County, they have a whole lot less students who scored a 4 than we did in 14, 15. They had less than 1%. Versus if you look at Oxford, we're about right there with Oxford, which was very comforting to me to know that. It's basically the same. If you look at reading, we had a little drop between 13, 14 and 14, 15. But then if you take a look to the other 2 schools, it's about the same. You can tell Oxford's a little bit better in terms of reading, but we're about the same with Coosa County. So I think that's a very big area that our school system needs to work on, and I know they are. And then our science. We don't have any data for 13, 14. We only have it for this past year, and I want to say I'm very proud of it considering what little we knew about the science test going into it. I was happy to see this 6% for our 4s. And then if you compare to the other 2 school systems, Coosa County was at 3.5%, where Oxford City's at 16.8%. Yes, that's higher, but it wasn't that much higher. And I think they have been doing AmStyle a lot longer than we have. Some other things I want to talk about are our indicators for our A through F report card. This is how the learning gains is found. I'm not going to read this. Y'all can go back and read it. I'm going to send it to you. But this is how they find our score for our report card from the State Department. As you can see, this is state, district, school. So the state was at 88, district's at 88, we're at 80. So we're right there with it in reading. Versus our math. State's at 90, district's at 97, Pinecrest School's at 100% in math. This is our learning gains achievement. That was good for me. We scored a 90.13 as our indicator score. The actual grade will come out in December of next year, like an A through F letter grade. Then this is just so you can kind of see the exact scores. Reading scored an 80.48, where math scored a 99.69. And then student achievement, this is how it's calculated. Again, I'm not going to go through this. You can read it. For reading, state was 56, district's 54, we're 52. For math, it's 63, 66, and 80. I was very, very, very happy to see that in math on both of those, it was higher than the district and the state. That, considering I teach math, I was very excited about that. And then this just shows the exact percentages, 79.99. So, our school system always has room for improvement. We know that. We're always trying to improve. We have set policies to address ethical issues, any type of issue that evolves. We always address issues with diversity and poverty. Our money's spent correctly. That's what our superintendent's there for, to help us spend our money wisely. Responding to diverse needs of students. We do that every single day. All students will succeed to be the best of their ability. We want our students to succeed no matter where they come from, what background, no matter their learning style. We want to see them succeed, and we as teachers do everything we can for that to happen. And lastly, our students receive an equal opportunity education. We provide an equal education to every student in our classroom. We may have to spend more time with Susie Q, who's a lower student, but we spend more time with our higher students as well because we want to push them more. So you just have to find that balance in a classroom, which is hard, but we always provide that equal opportunity education. So if y'all have any questions or concerns, just let me know. I'll be emailing you this so you can kind of look over it. If I don't know the answer to it, I will be happy to try to find it and let you know. But I thank y'all for sitting through this.